Welcome into Sports Talk at the Stadium from downtown Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, where Georgia demolished Clemson this afternoon in the season opener here at the Aflac kickoff game. Final score of 34-3. If this were a referendum on Clemson for this coming season, the Tigers failed miserably. This was a game that Clemson fans were looking at to see just where Clemson is going into this season in comparison to the number one team in the country. And the answer is they are a long way away from Georgia now. With this game, the Tigers have not scored a touchdown against Georgia in 10 consecutive quarters. The last Tiger to score a touchdown against Georgia was C.J. Davidson in the second quarter of their game in 2014 in Athens that Georgia went on to win. A lot of hopes for the Tigers going into this game. Tigers were feeling pretty good about themselves. And for a half, they stayed right with Georgia. It was only 6-0, but then Georgia scored on 4 or 5 possessions, scored touchdowns in the second half, while their defense was just manly. They dominated Clemson in the second half. The Tigers only had 188 yards for the game. And Cade Klubnik was running for his life much of the game, did not have a chance to take too many shots down the field. In the first half, when the Tigers were still in the ball game and they had a chance to put something together, they had a couple of issues lining up the same player, Adam Randall, twice lined up improperly, and it cost the Tigers. So a lot to work on for Clemson coming out of this game, though Dabo Swinney said afterwards that still loves this team, loves the leadership of this team, still believes Cade Klubnik gives them the best chance to win. Really thought Klubnik played well. And he said they'll go back and look at this game and they'll see a lot of positive things from Klubnik. The fans might feel differently. Again, he seemed jitterish. He seemed out of rhythm a lot of the time. The other question is, why not more Phil Mafah? The talk coming into the game was that Mafah was going to be the workhorse. He only carried the ball 14 times. Antonio Williams looked very good for Clemson the times they were able to get the football to him. He made some nice catches, and he looked really good. But Tyler Brown wasn't heard from until the second half, and the two highly touted freshman receivers, Moore and Wesco, that were not seen until late in the ball game and only had 2 catches between them. So offensively, the Tigers have a lot of work to do. Marcus Tate got rolled up on, had to come out of the ball game, didn't return, but Swinney said he'll be okay. Defensively, again, played a great first half. They matched Georgia blow for blow in that first half. But in the second half, in the words of Swinney, they played terrible defense. A lot of missed tackles, poor angles, etc. And Georgia really flexed their offensive muscles in that second half. Carson Beck, he looked like a very strong Heisman candidate, throws a beautiful ball, puts the ball right on the fingertips of his receivers so they can go and get it. And then when in trouble, he knows how to effectively run. And he hurt the Tigers a couple of times there. Even playing without their top 2 running backs, Georgia found a terrific running game. The freshman Frazier with the great speed from California, he really burned the Tigers in the second half. So where does Clemson go from here? Well, they cannot hang their heads too long because they've got a very good Appalachian State team coming to Death Valley next Saturday night. So the feeling from Swinney and the players we heard from, go right back to work on Monday, flush this, and get back on the right track and get a win against Appalachian State next week. But there is a lot to improve in this Clemson football team, especially on the offensive side. They just do not look like a good offensive team once again. Not much of a downfield threat in the passing game whatsoever. A lot of dinking and dunking. A lot of horizontal plays. And against a great defense that runs so well like Georgia, not going to get it done. So Clemson, bloodied today by Georgia. Are they beaten down to where they will not bounce back? We'll find out next week against Appalachian State. Our report from here in Atlanta brought to you by the South Carolina Beef Council. We'll have more on Clemson from Dabo Swinney Sunday night from his conference call. And, of course, plenty of conversation Monday night on Sports Talk. Thanks for checking us out.